In one of the poorest cities in the country, water bills continue to rise. A series of steep price hikes is causing tensions at City Hall and raising questions about the fairness of who pays and who doesn't.
Let's see if we can actually collect from these big corporate, employers and big entities that are way far behind on their bills.
The price of water in Baltimore will increase by roughly 30% over the next 3 years, beginning this July. The increase was proposed by the Department of Public Works and approved by the Board of Estimates on Tuesday morning.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay.
Nay.
Mayor Catherine Pugh approved the rate hike, as did City Solicitor Andre Davis and Department of Public Works Director Rudy Chow, who were both appointed by the mayor. City Council President Jack Young and Comptroller Joan Pratt voted no.
The Department of Public Works and its Water and Wastewater Bureau has not demonstrated to my satisfaction that the rate increases for providing these services are valid.
Water rates have already quadrupled since the year 2000. The Department of Public Works says the rate hikes are necessary to fund repairs to the city's century-old water and sewage system. Under federal consent decree from the Environmental Protection Agency, Baltimore must spend $1.6 billion on repairing the infrastructure.
We're in the catch-22, rock and a hard place right now, because unfortunately, right now, all the rate increases what we talk about annually, it's really so for the sole purpose of supporting the repayment, meaning the interest and principal of the money we'd be borrowing annually to do the annual capital programs.
But union organizer Tracy Lingo says working and poor Baltimoreans shouldn't have to bear the brunt of costs for repairs.
As working people are dedicating more and more of their income to water costs, we ask if large employers are paying their fair share.
In Baltimore, you can lose your home to tax sale over just $750 in unpaid water bills. You can lose a place of worship for even less, just $350 in unpaid water bills. But Lingo says the city's Marriott Waterfront Hotel is behind on its water bills by almost $1.5 million.
Against this seven-figure balance, the account made a payment on December 20th of only $813.91.
Lingo organizes with Unite Here Local 7, the union with which some Marriott waterfront workers are attempting to organize.
The Baltimore Marriott Waterfront, majority owned by Swiss investment bank UBS, opened in 2001 and benefited from a payment in lieu of taxes or pilot agreement. Under the terms of that pilot, the hotel is exempt from municipal property taxes for 25 years and instead pays just $1 a year. The pilot has cost the city's general fund an estimated $47 million in lost tax revenue since 2001. Marriott is the largest hotel company in the world and generated over $22 billion in revenue in 2017. Before Baltimore asks working people to pay even more for their water, the city should make sure that our largest and wealthiest employers are paying their fair share.
We reached out to Marriott Waterfront for response. They said the bill was erroneous and that, quote, as a responsible business operator, we contacted the city to refute the bill, and we've been in ongoing correspondence with them to address the matter. But water affordability advocate Molly Amster says when citizens like her get those kinds of erroneous bills, they get sent to tax sale and risk losing their properties. And she knows from experience.
I personally have had issues with my water bill and struggled to get DPW to respond. This caused my mortgage payments to increase dramatically because my house was on the tax sale list due to my incorrect water bill.
DPW Chief Financial Officer Troy Brogdon says his department forecasts a decrease in water bills after 3 years.
It's predicted in the fourth year that the wastewater rates will decline. And then after another maybe 3 years that our water and stormwater rates may have a declining rate increase.
But water affordability advocates say that's not the case.
It's not true. The rate increases will diminish in size. They will not be 9.9% every year in perpetuity, but there will still be a rate increase every single year. And that increase will be more than inflation.
We reached out to DPW for response, and they said the prospective rate increases will be less than what customers have been seeing. They'll decrease from 9% to 6% and eventually decrease to about 3%, which is about the rate of inflation. The Board of Estimates also unanimously approved a new DPW affordability program. Baltimore H2O Assists will lower rates for households with incomes below 175% of the federal poverty level, even if they're behind on their bills. But critics say that's not enough.
Those funds are still going to leave many residents are not going to qualify for those funds.
Especially not for renters.
DPW's proposed assistance program would still require the property owner's written permission before a tenant could receive the discount.
The evening before the meeting, 5 members of City Council held a press conference outside City Hall to demand that DPW justify the rate hike with an independent study.
We want to see the numbers. We want to see where citizens' dollars are going to go to. We want to see what the improvements to our infrastructure are going to be.
But DPW Director Rudy Chow says there's already been sufficient analysis to show the rate hikes are necessary.
Our rate hikes go through a robust analysis by our rate consultants. That means I didn't just pull the number off some sort of board and says that's the rate increases.
Mayor Pugh said refusing to approve the rate hike would be unfair to her constituents who suffer sewage backups, water main breaks, and other effects of Baltimore's aging water systems.
Buildings have been flooded, schools have been flooded, children have had to leave school because pipes are breaking. Nobody should have to undergo this.
But Lingo says there are other ways to finance Baltimore's infrastructure repairs.
There should be no rate increase until we make sure that all the corporate accounts are up to date.
This week, state legislators announced that they'll reintroduce legislation to prevent residents from losing their homes and churches due to unpaid bills. And last month, City Council President Jack Young introduced legislation to tie water rates to household income and create a grievance and appeals office for water customers. Amster says the new rate hikes make these proposals all the more necessary to protect the city's most vulnerable residents.
Obviously, the people who are the most vulnerable already in our city, people who are, low income, elderly, disabled, like those are the people who are struggling the most and are going to be negatively impacted the most by this rate hike, and continue to be impacted by the lack of addressing the consistent problems that exist. And those people are losing their homes.
For The Real News with Taylor Hebden, Tharna Noor, Baltimore.